Wow, guys, that was an exciting yesterday. Blackrock ETF fake news pumping the market. Bitcoin explode towards upside. There, it started with a 3-second pump, then 16-second pump, then another pump. It went all the way up to something like 30k, 30.6k, and right now we pulled back inside the channel. So not much had actually changed on Bitcoin. We are still inside the channel, so we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're also going to look at what's happening with the SP 500, Dow Jones, Nasdaq, and we'll be looking at DXY, how DXY is looking right now. It's looking like it's going to fall out of the channel, but it's very, very close. So we're going to look at that, and we're also going to look at a little bit on the Bitcoin dominance, what's happening there. So let's start with Bitcoin over here, and as you can see, we are still in the channel, but there has been very important improvements in the chart that's happened since yesterday. Yesterday we made a video. We said that we need to wait a little bit just to see how this is gonna close, because there has been a lot of new stock. There has been a lot of fake news, rumors, this and that, and when stuff like this happens, you gotta stay a little bit calm, wait for the closes, see how the price reacts. Does it pull back immediately? Because it could be just the case that we pump up here towards upside and then straight back down. This is still not out of the picture, and I'm gonna explain to you why. But the fact that we didn't dump over here towards downside after this big wick towards upside, we didn't just immediately dump down. The price looks still strong. I mean, still holding certain levels. It's not dumping. People are not immediately selling after the fake news. So the thing is that BlackRock ETF rumor from Cointelegraph came out, and they said that BlackRock ETF is approved, which is not, and stuff pumped, right? Usually once you figure out that it is the fake news, it's something bad, people start immediately shorting the market, and these things should have gone right back down again. It did not happen, and I consider that very, very bullish. So regardless whether there is an ETF coming or not, this is actually very bullish, the fact that we are not actually dumping immediately towards downside. There has been more development on the Bitcoin front that are telling us that we are a little bit bullish. One of the most important things is that on the daily time frame, this is the daily time frame, we are above the 200 moving average. The purple line over here, right now we are above 200 moving average. The channel up here, the very bearish channel, technically bearish channel, we have managed to cross the midline up here, and right now we are having a pullback down to the 200 moving average and to the midline as well. Still, everything looks fine, and then it is actually very, very nice. So I think now that we can actually say that this is actually a little bit bullish, we still need to give it a little bit time to see whether it actually can manage to hold these levels up here and continue towards the upside, or it's just gonna lose the strength and then go towards the downside. The 14th October eclipse, solar eclipse, did not play in our favor, so I am very, very thin in my belief right now, when it comes to the moon. So we're not gonna talk too much about the moons, but the channel up here is very nice and legit. We are not out of the channel, so we cannot say that this is actually very stupidly bullish, but we have definitely broken very important level of resistance up here. So there has been a couple of resistance level up here at the top, these stops up here, this as well. And all of these stops are right now broken, so we managed to close above it. Even though that it was fake news, we managed to close above the resistance level, and right now we need to see how that's gonna hold. So we are above the resistance level, we are above the midline, we are above the 200 moving average, we are above where we should be to continue this move towards the upside. Right now, the only thing we need left is continuation towards the upside. You also see on the weekly time frame, if you zoom in very, very nicely, that we managed actually to close above the 10 moving average up here. Right now we're trying to get it back above this 200 moving average. So there, this we are above 200 moving average on the daily time frame, but we are not above 200 moving average on the weekly time frame yet. But we still have time, and there is no divergence. You can also see that this top up here, this top up here is higher than this top over here. So this goes towards upside. And there is no divergence when it comes to the RSI. So everything is playing out nicely. Everything is playing out nicely so far, and we are also above the midline on the weekly time frame over here. when it comes to, you know, technically we are bullish. You know, the price, the RSI is above the, you know, around 50 levels. This is curving towards upside. The momentum is increasing up here towards upside. Yes, we are below the moving average, but there is no divergence and stuff like that, right? So everything is looking nice and dandy. On the monthly time frame, was the monthly time frame I want to talk about? No, it was weekly time frame. There is one thing on the weekly time frame that is important to notice, and you know, regard to Mladen, because I never actually did this before, but I started doing it, you know, lately, is the trend lines on the RSI. Now I cannot tell you exactly whether this is actually broken or not, because you know, it depends on how you draw it. Maybe something like this. It looks like it's breaking it right now. This trend line over here is very, very important. So when the RSI starts crossing this towards the upside, this is, you know, off time a very good sign that we are in a bullish momentum, and that this is actually going to go again towards the upside. It looks like it's starting to get broken, but this is a weekly time frame, so it can actually, you know, just turn and go towards downside. The line is very, very close to be broken, so, you know, it's also important to keep an eye on that line. So it does look good. This pullback down here might be just a small pullback before the next move towards the upside, but it can also, you know, fail that and, you know, crash towards the downside. What I'm looking for on the small time frames right now, what I'm looking on small time frames, and when I say small time frames, I mean something like hourly time frames. There are actually a couple of lines I'm looking to see whether this is actually going to play out or not. There are two trend lines down here. This is the one over here, the first move when it started, and then when it increased, you know, the speed of the move. Now you can see up here that the first move up here is still in the trend. It's still in the trend, it's still holding the line, it's still haven't broken below that. But the second, the speedy move up here is already broken the trend. The good thing is that after breaking the trend, we aren't dumping just towards downside. So I'm looking actually for whether this line over here, the second line, or the first line, I'm actually looking for that to see whether that's gonna hold. So I can definitely see us going a little bit more again towards the midline over here, before we go towards the upside, or just towards the upside over here towards the upside. But you know, on the short term, like 1 hourly stuff like that, right, I'm looking for, if there is gonna come any kind of weakness in price, I'm looking to see if this is gonna break towards the downside. But it does look good. We can be happy after yesterday's, you know, FUD news, fake news. So there is that. The Bitcoin dominance is skyrocketing up towards the upside. We are always been looking at a weekly time frame up here. The trend up here is already broken. The trend up here is already broken. Maybe a little bit up here. Maybe it's all over there. Doesn't matter. The trend is already broken, as you can see up here, and this is actually very good news for the altcoin season, right? Because we are expecting, you know, eventually that Bitcoin is gonna do this move and continue to go towards downside, just like it did over here. 200 moving average goes up to 200 moving average, and then, you know, goes towards the upside. At one point there will be altcoin season, and we know that altcoins are down by a whole bunch, so, you know, altcoin season is very, very welcomed. But right now, you know, this zigzag pattern up here at the top, it is playing out, you know, still in favor of Bitcoin, and we still believe that Bitcoin is gonna dominate the charts and the dominance a little while longer. So dominance also tells us that, you know, altcoin season is, you know, very, very close, but, you know, maybe not just yet. Maybe after Bitcoin goes above 40k, you know, 45k. DXY on the daily time frame up here looks like it wants to break towards downside. We are still a little bit unsure whether that's going to be. The channel can be drawn a little bit differently, but this did break towards downside. Managed to get back inside the channel, holding this 10 and 20 moving average, but it looks like it wants to break on the downside. You can see up here this curvature up here right now. It is losing momentum definitely. I haven't seen the indicators down here. Let me just check quickly. It's losing momentum down here a little bit on the daily time frame. The weekly time frame, it's been climbing very high up to the 67 levels. It looks like it's losing momentum here at the top, so it might be the case that DXY is stopping out and it is losing momentum. It wants to do a pullback very, very soon. That will also, you know, pump, maybe just maybe pump Bitcoin to, you know, 46k, the target. So that's good. The last thing, the SP 500. just a quick look on SP 500, Nasdaq, and the Dow Jones, how this is actually playing out. So we be saying that maybe, just maybe, the trend is already broken. So this move towards upside, it did definitely break the trend, but right now it's kind of flagging towards downside. So this can be, could actually be looked at some kind of bull flag, or it's actually just consolidating in a downtrend before the next move towards the upside. But the trend over here is broken. What's not broken is this trend over here. It's back inside some kind of channel up here. I don't know where the channel is, maybe something like this over here, but it did not break the trend line down here. The trend line breaking down here, that's actually very, very bad, but right now it does look like it's actually just flagging. This is SP 500. The flag is also on the Nasdaq, so there is a big move on Nasdaq towards upside. Right now it just looks like it's flagging, right? We don't have any kind of big weakness in the price, but it looks like it's flagging towards the downside. This is not exhaustion pattern that goes towards upside. This is a flagging towards downside. This is actually consolidation pattern in the downside, so it doesn't look that bad. Although the trend is broken, the first move is actually finished. I still think that it can do another move towards upside, where but eventually, once the next move comes, it's pretty much over. I would say pretty much over. And the same thing goes, almost same thing goes for the Dow Jones. The Dow Jones is still holding the support level down here, without looking at this up here, because this is the first initial move. Then you have these moves over here. It looks like it broke the trend over here, but still just climbing slowly towards upside. Now this is rising channel up here, but if the SP 500 and the Nasdaq are gonna do another move towards upside, we can definitely see Dow Jones also following with them. Now that's actually all that I want to say in this video. It does look okay. Again, Bitcoin does look okay, but I'm a little bit unsure where it is gonna end. It did break a whole bunch of stuff. Now we can ask ourselves whether this breaking the resistance level 200 moving average, the midline, the important resistance level on daily and stuff like that, whether this is actually just an effect of the fake news, or is this actually a real thing. Now my understanding is that if it was a fake news, it would have dumped immediately afterwards. The fact that we did not dump immediately afterwards, the fate is high. Guys, have a nice day. I hope you enjoy the Tuesday. Do whatever you want to do. Outro. Bye bye, guys. I'll see you around.